you can still talk by unmuting yourself or using the chat function. So we've all found a comfortable seat. And I want to just invite you to close your eyes if that's something you feel safe doing right now, and really feel your seat. So come into your buttocks and notice the sitting bones that are grounding into either your blankets or bolster or seat of your chair, and really start to feel the heaviness of those bones, those sitting bones, and allow your legs to relax to the ground as best as you can. So begin to set yourself up with a wide, deep, grounding base into the earth. And just take a breath, and let's try this. Let's inhale through the nose and then exhale, give a big sigh. And see if you feel your lower body get a bit heavier. Let's try that again, maybe. Inhale through the nose. And see if you can bring any sense of heaviness or groundedness or relaxation to your lower body. And then let's shift to the other end of your physical body, to the crown of your head. And we're going to use a little bit of visualization today in class. I hope that helps. And we might use things like sunlight to help us find the quality of sparkliness in the spine today. So maybe you could visualize the crown of your head as receiving the beautiful morning sunlight that's out there today. You might feel the crown of your head warming slightly. You might feel the crown of your head reaching towards the sun, the way my roses on my climbing rose turn throughout the day to face the sun. And so notice that sensation, if you can, of growing up to the light while staying firmly rooted in your base. So you're a living, breathing, planted being. And then take a couple breaths in and out through the nose if you can, beginning to connect the sitting bones and the crown of the head in your awareness, using the movement of the breath in the body as kind of that thread that winds those two areas together. So here's a suggestion how you might lay that out. You might think on the inhale, you're drinking in this sunshine that's coming in through the crown of your head, and it's moving all the way down the middle part of your body, right through where the spine goes to the pelvic floor where the sitting bones are. And then on the exhale, you're returning the sunshine, and it's coming up, illuminating the central channel of the body all the way up to the crown. So let's just take 3 more breaths, letting the sunlight wash up and down the spine. And then you can let your eyes open slowly and just evaluate for yourself. And you can share impressions in the chat if you want, or just give me a thumbs up. But just notice if you do indeed start to feel a little bit more spacious through the middle part of your body. We're looking for sparkliness in our spine today. So you did that without any movement. I get a few thumbs up, thank you. You did that without any movement. You did that just by turning your attention to this wonderful flow of energy that exists for all of us along our spine. So let's take that with us as we come to mountain pose. And we're going to do a little bit of joint freeing, loosening up a bit this morning. So coming to stand, taking your time, keep your chair close by. In case you find any of these movements challenge your balance this morning, and that can happen, can't it? So take your mountain pose, and let's see if we can briefly recreate what we had when we were seated, in that the lower half of the body is still grounded. So you can imagine the connection you had through your sitting bones to the ground is still there. And now the whole leg channel on each side becomes part of the root system, penetrating into the earth. We're still using the crown of the head as an idea of reaching towards the sun. So we're still light-filled, if you will. And take that buoyancy, take that spaciousness with you. As you inhale, lift up onto the balls of the feet, and then exhale, lower the heels back down. Now you could have your chair here for a little bit of extra confidence, if that helps. And then there's the option as well to add some arm movement. To inhale, lift the arms as you come up onto the balls of the feet, and then to lower everything at the same time as you exhale. The other thing that we can add into this, if you feel like it would be interesting, is to lift up and then hold at the top, like you're at the top of a roller coaster for a minute, and then whoosh back down. So there's a slight opportunity here to retain the breath after you inhale, just for a few heartbeats. If that doesn't suit you today, of course you don't have to do it. Let's just take 2 more breaths. But that retention after the inhale might give you that sense of suspension in time, that anticipation of some wonderful event, like a roller coaster ride. There we go, perfect. And then allowing your body to come to stillness and just experience being in your body right here in this moment. Okay, again, you might want to use your chair for balance. We're going to move into moving the hips a little bit here. So one hand on the chair is fine. When you're ready to inhale, let's lift the leg, turn the knee out to the side. And as you're ready to exhale, bring the knee across and circle it around. So as best as you can, keep the hips nice and stable. Keep the standing leg grounded. And do some nice big circles with that knee. Let's go around in the other direction. So remember, your hand could always be on the chair if you need a little bit of confidence with your balance today. These circles are taking 1 entire breath each. And our intention is just to really start to activate a lot of lubrication in the hip joint. Lubrication in the hip joints, in the pelvic area, allow us to really reciprocate that sunshine energy that we were working with in our opening meditation. Let's go to the other side, inhaling and exhaling. And as best as we can, we're keeping the spine neutral and just moving the leg. And we'll do 3 breaths in one direction and then switch around in the other direction for the next 3 breaths. And of course, your hand could be on the chair at any point if you need a little bit of help with confidence here. And then when you completed this breath, we'll come back to mountain pose and breathe in and out. Okay, let's come into a little bit of movement in sun salutations. So I'm going to just flip my chair around. We can work with the chair for the first round, and you can stick with working with the chair if that's comfortable for you. If you have your version of sun salutation that you would very much prefer, then you're welcome to take that one. I just want to incorporate a little bit of cat-cow movement into the sun salutation instead of doing the traditional vinyasa. So you might want to come with me just to get that sparkling spine theme going. So facing the top edge of your mat, and if you're using a chair, make sure the chair is braced against baseboards or something where it won't move. And let's just come into a little bit of movement. One of the brilliant things about sun salutations is they really do massage the spine in different directions, which allows us to bring more energy, more sunshine bubbling through the spine. So when you're ready, we might take the hands together at the heart, and we might use this little break in movement to set that intention for our spine, to be sparkly, to be sunshine filled today. And then when you're ready to inhale, lift and spread the arms. Lift the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Make sure you soften the knees. It's early in our practice. Inhale, lift the spine into a straight position. So I'm going to stop here just for a second and just really make sure, even if you're not using a chair, you have your hands on your legs, that you've lifted your spine into an extended position, not a half-hearted lift, but a really buoyant, really happy lift. So the tailbone is pushing backwards, the breastbone drawing forwards, and there's a lot of energy moving in the spine here. Beautiful. This is our inhale position, so let's all join together in an inhale. And then as we exhale, let's step the right leg back into lunge pose. So the left knee's over top of the ankle. And then as you inhale, you have the opportunity to lift one arm or both arms. And then as you exhale, let's step into table pose. So I'm using the chair, so my knees aren't on the ground, but you could be knees on the ground for this. Good. And then inhale, lift into extension again. Chest pushes forward, tailbone pushes back. Exhale, move into flexion. So really try to feel the difference between when the whole spinal channel is stretched long, and then when you really gather the belly in and stretch the back of the spinal channel. Let's take one more breath. Inhale, extending, and exhale, arching out the spine. Good. On our next inhale, let's step the right foot forward, the left leg back. We're into lunge pose with the other leg forward. And you have the option of lifting one or both arms as you inhale again. And then exhale, stepping into forward fold. And inhale, opening up to the sun. And then as you take the hands back down to the heart, think about drawing that sunshine energy down the central channel. Okay. So there we go. That's the sun salutation with the chair. I'm going to switch to doing sun salutation with my knees on the ground. I'm using a blanket to cushion my knees. You can stay with what we just did. And we might move a little bit more fluidly through the various postures that are included in the sun salutation now. So when you're ready, hands to the heart. Just one breath to recall the intention we have today of sparkling spine. And then inhale, lifting up, spreading wide. Exhale, softening forward. Inhale, be sparkly through your spine as you lengthen it. Exhale, step the left leg back into lunge. Inhale, lift one or both arms up. And exhale, step back into table pose. Inhale, lengthen the front of the spinal channel. Exhale, flex the spine. Moving through that for 2 more breaths. Looking for fluidity, movement in every segment of your back. On your next inhale, please bring your left foot forward into lunge. You have the option of lifting your arms if you like. Exhale, step into forward fold. And then inhale, lifting up towards the sun. Exhale, hands to the heart. Now you're welcome to stay in mountain pose for a brief break, or you can use seated mountain pose in your chair. We're just taking a brief break here to recreate the visualization we used in our seated meditation at the start. So feeling the grounding through the lower half of the body. Relax, if you can, the feet and sitting bones towards the ground. And then begin breathing in through the crown of the head. So taking that sunshine-like energy in through the crown of the head, move it to the pelvic floor area. And on the exhale, lift from the ground back up out the crown of the head. So sunshine energy is moving up and down the spinal channel with every breath. And you're bringing all that life force, that beautiful growth potential to the very core of your being. Now let's take that with us as we come into another round of sun salutations. And we might do a few variations here. I'm going to work with the chair for this first round, the first half round, just so I can show the variation there. So when you're ready, let's inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, soften into forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. Lots of energy in the spine. Exhale, step the right leg back into lunge. And here's where we might want to make a little variation. On my next inhale, I'm going to take the left arm up alongside the ear. So I've got a really long body here. And as I exhale, I'm going to wrap the left arm around my body and body to the left. Inhale, come back to center, left arm extends forward. Exhale, twisting over to the left. Let's try that maybe one more time. Inhale, lunge pose. One or both arms can lift up. Exhale, stepping to table pose. And then it gets familiar. Inhale, chest lifts forward. Exhale, belly pulls in. 2 more breaths using your cat-cow type movement. And this is really massaging that sunshine energy up and down the spine. Good. On your next inhale, let's bring the right leg forward, left leg back into lunge. And then we'll do the same thing. Exhale, arm comes around behind the back. We twist to the right. Inhale, right arm up alongside the ear. Exhale, twist. I'm trying to stay really stable in my right knee here. My right knee staying right over top of the ankle. Inhale, one or both arms can lift in lunge pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting to the sun. And exhale, hands to the heart. And before we go into our final half round, you could take a break in seated mountain pose or stay in standing mountain pose just to catch your breath. I'm going to move to using the floor version now. But you may want to have a block. I find that the block gives you a lot more room for twisting. So if you have a yoga block, or sometimes we use a full box of Kleenex if it's nice and firm, it might help. So when you're ready to move again, coming to mountain pose, feeling grounded through the lower half of the body and letting the crown of the head reach towards the sun. So we're quite organically being as tall as we can, quite naturally reaching in both directions. Inhale, reach to the sun. Exhale, touch to the earth. Inhale, find that perfect balance point where we're alert, awake, yet relaxed. Exhale, dropping the left leg back into lunge. And inhale, lifting the left arm up. I'll get this right. And then exhale, coming into the twist. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, coming into the twist. And inhale, lifting. Exhale into the twist. Inhale, last lift. Exhale, stepping to table pose. Inhale, chest lifts up and forward. Exhale, spine is massaged, especially in the middle segments of your spine. So if you notice your head is bobbing up and down a lot, can you make more movement in the middle part of your spine, less in your head and neck? On your next inhale, we'll bring the left foot forward, finding lunge here. Exhale, twisting. Taking 2 more breaths like that. And then we find full lunge if you want for your last inhale. Exhale, stepping the back foot forward. And inhale, triumphantly lifting towards the sun. Exhale, hands to the heart. And I think we might find that we're quite warm through the spine now. That was a lot of movement for the spine. And I'd like to take that movement into a little bit of another pose. So if you could turn sideways on your mat, take your feet a generous distance apart, turning the feet out on about a 45-degree angle, maybe 30 degrees, so that when you bend your knees and you follow the angle of your thigh bone, it looks to be the same direction that your toes are pointing. And when you bend your knees, you really don't want your knees to go further out than your ankles. You want them to stop at the level of the ankles. So it's not a real deep knee bend. It's just to get some energy kind of flowing. So we're going to work, if we can, with a little bit more of that sunshine coming in through the crown of the head to the pelvic floor, and then the sunshine energy recycling back up and out the crown of the head as we exhale. So let's take it like this. As we inhale, we come into a little bit of a deep knee bend. And then as we exhale, we come back to the center point. So inhale and exhale. Now, if it's possible, it takes a lot of concentration. Can you inhale through the crown of the head to the pelvic floor? Can you bring it back up from the pelvic floor, out the crown of the head? Try that for a couple more breaths. There's a lot to think about there. Now, if your legs are getting tired, please take a break. You can use seated mountain pose or another version. But let's hold the knee bend if we can and move a little bit from side to side. So let's take an inhale here. And as we exhale, tip over to one side. Inhale, come back to the original position, and exhale, tip to the other side. Now, whenever your legs get tired, if I'm talking too much, take a break, stand up, shake them out. But we're looking now at the lateral sides of our spine. We think of front and back, but we have these sides to our spine. And when we talk about energy, energy flows in 3 dimensions. Go to each side one more time. And then when you're ready to exhale, letting go of that. Shaking the legs out. And if you're comfortable coming down onto your belly, I'm going to suggest you might want to do that. If you'd rather not come down onto your belly, let me show you something that you can do instead with your chair. And you'll need either a folded blanket or a block with your chair. Here's what we can do with the blanket. So I've taken my blanket and rolled it up into a nice bolster type thing. And I'm going to lie that right there along the chair, sit near the chair, and have the blanket support the back of my spine. And then actually the cues for being on your belly or being in the chair kind of sound exactly the same. So if you've come down onto your belly, please align your legs in a parallel fashion and press the legs, whatever parts of your legs that are in contact with the floor, let's press the legs into the floor. So it's part of that rooting that we've been working with today. Try to relax the lower half of your body as best as you can and feel really part of the earth as best as you can with the lower part of your body. Take your elbows and pull them up behind you. So you kind of like chicken wings back there. And your hands are grounded into either the sides of the chair or the mat beside your rib cage. But the elbows are really pulling backwards and up towards the sky. And your hands are grounded into the chair or the mat beside you. And then on the inhales, press into your hands and lift the chest up towards the sky. So not necessarily forward, but lift it up, up, up. And then exhale, relax that. You can turn your head to one side if you want to when you come down. And then inhale, press into your hands, lift the chest up, up, up. And then exhale, relax that and turn to the other side. Working that for a couple more breaths. I'll just demonstrate the posture on the ground in case my cueing wasn't clear enough. This is a moving version of Cobra pose. And if you are getting tired, take a rest. But if you're still with me, can you bring that visualization of the light in the spine? So as you inhale, light comes in through the crown of the head, moves to the tailbone. And then as you exhale, that sunshine sweeps back up and out the crown of the head. Taking a couple more breaths here if you can. And if you are turning your head, feel how the crown of the head is connected to the rest of the spine through your neck. And don't overdo it. Let that stay a really open, fluid channel. Let's just do this for 2 more breaths. If you're looking from side to side, try to even out which way you're looking. And then let's rest. Either take the blanket out from behind you and just sit in the chair the way it is, or lie in crocodile pose. I often will bring my hands together under my forehead for a little pillow effect. And let's just process what's been happening. Nothing specific here other than just letting go as best you can. Okay. And then if you are on your bellies, you may want to come up to all fours and move back to child's pose. Or how about a downward facing dog? And if downward dog doesn't work very well on hands and knees for you, let's get our chairs going again. Place the hands on the chairs, move the feet back. Let the knees be soft and really elongate the spine again. So down dog on the ground is going to be not very comfortable to hold for this period of time. Try using the chair. It can make the posture much more accessible. Now we want to try to make that sort of sparkly lengthening of the spine a focus here if we can. And again, if I'm holding this posture too long, you take a rest, take a break. But if possible, can you imagine here even breathing in through the crown of the head and the energy moving to the tailbone, and then bring the energy, slide it back from the tailbone right down to the crown of the head. So there's a real cleansing, a real sparkliness, sparkly windows. Try 2 more breaths if you can in your downward facing dog. So you want to really be thinking about a long, strong spine here. So I see some friends who could maybe step their legs back a little bit more if you're using the chair. Bend your knees a little bit and then really lift the hips. That's it, yes. Okay. And then let's step forward into mountain pose. Great work. Let's be in mountain pose for a few breaths. And we stopped after our opening meditation and we said, does our spine feel more sparkly just from thinking about it? Well, now you've moved your spine a lot. And I'm wondering if you're feeling any different sensations of sparkliness or light moving in the spine. That's wonderful, because that's kind of what we advertised in the class today, right? Okay, wonderful. Can I ask you now to move into a seated position? So I think for many of us, we'll feel comfortable having lots of support underneath our hips. So you might use a blanket folded like this, maybe a couple blankets folded like that. We want to make sure that when we start to come into these postures, that we have that beautiful alignment, that beautiful natural relaxed alignment in the spine. So you can even build like a whole stack of blankets if that's what's going to work for you and keep you happy today, keep your spine happy today. So let's start in staff pose. I'm just going to turn my computer a little bit so I can see you better. Let's start in staff pose. That's legs stretched out in front. Nice and straight. And if we kind of wiggle our bum forward so that the sitting bones are just kind of hooked over the edge of this blanket, and we feel as though the pelvis is cascading forward a little bit, that might give you a little bit more freedom in the upper back. Good. And then bend or flex the ankles, pull the toes back towards the shins. Let your fingertips support you from behind and find that beautiful long spine again. So we're well rooted through the legs. And we're drinking sunshine in through the crown of the head, feeding it to the earth as we inhale. And then we're drawing that cooling, that growth potential up from the earth, up to the crown of the head on our exhale. So just maybe take 2 or 3 breaths in staff pose, feeling that lovely, lovely energy. That's fine. Okay. So after we've had that chance to really sparkle up the spine, let's take the right leg and step it out a few degrees. So it doesn't have to come out a long ways. So it's just off on an angle here. Then I'm going to take the left leg, bend the knee, and let the knee drop out. Now, if you find that there's some restrictions in your hips or knees, that's pretty common. That's why I always have extra blankets and pillows hanging around. So you might find it helpful to be able to prop underneath that leg. Now your sitting bones are just hooked over the edge of the blankets you've set up underneath your underneath your pelvis, and we're still able to maintain a long spine. We're going to come into some side bending from here. So this is known as revolved head to knee pose. But first, let's practice twisting towards the left knee. So let's inhale, lift up the arms, get long in the spine. Exhale, twist towards the left knee. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, twist towards the left knee. Try that one more time. This is a surprising amount of work. Good. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist. Now hold the twist. Drop your right hand and reach over with your left. And then you can inhale back up to center. And you can exhale, come into the side bend. So we're not trying to necessarily reach for our right foot. That's not a big focus. But we are trying to maintain that twist we were practicing towards the left knee while we lean out to the side. This is a bit more complex movement for the spine, but we're sparkly now. We're well warmed up for this. Now you might choose to keep moving. You might choose to hold the posture. If you're holding the posture, you might notice your left arm getting really tired. So you can just wrap it around behind your back. That's fine. Let's go back to really thinking about our spines again. So root the lower part of your body into the ground. Relax it as much as you can. Maybe one of those sighing breaths will help. And then elongate the crown of the head. Now, it won't be straight up to the sun. The sun might be setting for you. But elongate the crown of the head away from the pelvic floor and breathe into that sparkling energy along the spinal channel. So draw light in through the crown of the head as you inhale to the pelvic floor, and then recycle the light back up from the pelvic floor out the crown of the head, and try to make that channel as long as you can. So elongate. One more breath here. Really working intently now. Good. And then releasing. Coming up slowly, because that's very powerful. We're lifting your left leg up, straightening the leg out, and bringing the right leg back into staff pose. Let's just stay neutral for a couple breaths. When you hold postures and you really concentrate on breathing the energy up and down the spine, it can be really potent. So you may need longer periods of rest in this kind of intense practice. When you're ready, you could take the left leg, move it out, not too far, it doesn't have to be extreme. Then bend the right knee and let it flop out. And remember, there's always the option of propping underneath this knee if you need a little bit of help. Reset your sitting bones so they're just hooked on the edge of the blanket, and you feel as though your whole spine feels kind of loose and sparkly. You don't want to be bent over and rigid here. That would be a very unhappy place for your spine to be. So use props so that you can feel that looseness, that sparkliness in the spine. And then we begin with practicing the twist. Inhale, exhale to the right knee. Inhale, exhale to the right knee. And one more time. Okay, then we're getting ready to come into the more complicated version of this posture. And moving in and out with our breath. It really doesn't matter which way you exhale and inhale, to be honest. But using the breath to help you find a rhythm of movement is very helpful. And there's no pressure to get the left hand to the left foot or anything like that. You don't need a strap. We're looking really to use this movement, and it's a combination of a twisting movement and a lateral bend for your spine, so it's quite complicated. But we're looking to create a sense of sparkliness in the spine today. So it's not about stretching your hamstrings or anything like that. Now you may be choosing to hold this position. You may be choosing to wrap the arm around behind your back because it's getting tired being up there. Wherever we are though, maybe we can come back to relaxing through the lower half of the body. Maybe is helpful with that. And then looking to elongate the spine as much as possible. It's kind of like the base of your body is the firework tamped into the ground, and the crown of the head is shooting the firework off into space. It's going off at an angle now, but we still want to have that trajectory, that light, that power moving the length of the spine. Let's take one more breath here. And then releasing up slowly. That's powerful work, so take your time. And lifting up the knee, letting that leg straighten out, and bring the left leg back into line. And we can just take symmetry for a moment. Just noticing the extra sense of sparkliness that you might have in your spine. Okay, let's come down onto our backs. And if you're on a hardwood floor like I am, you might want to have a blanket just to support you so that you don't feel the bones of your spine grinding into the floor. Especially as we get older, we don't have as much padding. I have lots of padding in places I don't want it and not enough padding in the places I need it. But sometimes the bones of the spine are some of the places we don't have enough padding. So don't be brave. Use extra cushioning. It will keep the bones of your spine in a lot better shape. So let's do a little work in bridge pose. I'm coming down onto my back, feet into the floor, and you're welcome to use that block between your knees, or if you have that Kleenex box handy still, that can be a wonderful tracking device, I might call it. Because as we have in all of our postures today, we want to feel that stability in the lower half of the body, the connectedness to the health of the earth, the growth potential of the earth. So the block between the knees can just kind of help you keep your head and your legs a little bit more. And this is the version of bridge pose where the arms can go back behind the head. So I've got to move my chair out of the way here so I can do that. So when you're ready, press feet firmly into the ground. And when you're ready, let's inhale, lift the hips up and take the arms back behind the head. Exhale, slowly lower down. Now, if using the arms here is just too much effort for a Wednesday morning in June, then you don't have to use the arms. The arms do provide a little extra mobilizing of the upper spine. And this tends to be an area where we do have some areas that are stuck or some energy doesn't get through fully. And then after you've done this for a little while, you might experiment leaving the arms back behind your head and lowering the hips all by themselves. That could be an interesting thing to try. And now you begin to really feel the individual segmentation of the spine. And you can send sparkly sunshine energy to individual places that are tender or tight or underused in your upper back in particular. Last time up. And this time as you exhale, bring the arms down with you. And we'll rest for a moment. You can take the block out for a minute. Stretch your legs out if your legs felt tight in the backs and the hamstrings. And just find a neutral place. And if that's enough bridge pose for you, I would totally understand. But I thought it might be interesting to hold bridge pose and bring some of that, sunshine imagery into it. So if you want to, you can come back into bridge. This time you might hold the posture, and you can take whatever version of bridge pose seems to work best for you these days. And we might hold it for a little while. So I'm going to use this version of bridge pose with my arms bent. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to press through the feet, push the knees away from me, and use my shoulders and upper arms to help lift my spine. Holding here for a few breaths. Once again, bring that imagery in. Drawing sunshine energy in through the crown of the head, bring it to the pelvic floor. And then as you exhale, the pelvic energy moves back up the spine and out the crown of the head. So this is a reverse flow to the way the energy was moving when we were standing or seated. We're working in a different way with the energy because our bodies are inverted. So notice if you can start to sense places that the energy moves easily through the spine or places where it's caught or stagnant a little bit. And if you can be here for 2 more breaths, that might be interesting. If you're exhausted, pull out. And then releasing slowly and letting your spine find full support from the earth. So just coming to a neutral place for a couple breaths and just maybe taking some of those sighing breaths. Just really feeling the earth here for you and feeling that permission for rest into Earth's embrace. Just taking a couple more breaths there. And then let's just balance out the spine a little bit. When you're ready, lift one leg and then the other leg up from the floor and see if you can reach the feet to the ceiling. Your knees don't have to be perfectly straight. And then lifting the arms up towards the ceiling as well. And we'll time this movement with our breath. Inhale here. And as you exhale, fold the knees in and push the arms into the floor beside you. Inhale. And exhale. And when we come into the exhale movement, when you're pushing the arms into the floor, stabilizing the whole spinal channel. So we've had a lot of movement in the spinal channel today. Now we want to really wrap the whole spine in a nice tight hug. So you're improving core strength, of course, but what we're thinking about today is really helping to seal in that sunshine energy so that we have it to draw from and move from all day long. Just take one more breath like this. Wonderful. And then you can let your feet come back to the ground. I'm going to suggest that we do a supine twist here. You can choose your favorite version. I'm going to cue one that's actually, it's actually a little bit challenging for some bodies sometimes. So if you don't like the one that I'm picking, maybe just do an easy rock from side to side with your knees, and that will achieve pretty much the same thing. So as if I were going to do bridge pose, I'm going to lift my hips up and plop them down on the left side of my mat. Straighten out the right leg, draw in the left knee, and roll gently towards the right. Now, I have no desire to get this knee all the way to the ground. In fact, perhaps it's not healthy for my spine to do that. But I would like to support the knee so it stays on the same level as my hip joint. And then relax the shoulders back to the ground. Even turn my head over towards the opposite side. That would be fine. I just don't want to pull my lower back into an extreme twist here. And take a couple breaths. If you still had your block handy, it might be a nice way to support this foot or your full box of Kleenex. And take a couple nice deep breaths. This time you can really let go into the support of the earth. You let your weight be heavy. It's time to leave this pose. Use the arms to help guide the left knee closer. And drop the left foot, bend the right knee, and bring your hips back to the center place on the mat. Take a moment in neutral. And then we can move to the other side, lifting the hips, plopping them down on the right side of your mat, stretching out the left leg, bringing the right knee in, and twisting gently towards the left. Again, you don't want to bring the knee all the way to the floor. It's really not that helpful for our work on the spine today. If we can keep the knee at the level of the top hip joint or a little bit higher than the hip joint, that's kinder for your spine. And then take a few breaths to really relax towards the earth. And when you feel you've explored that long enough, gently draw the right knee back in, drop the right foot to the ground, bend the left leg, shift your hips back to center, and just take a moment in constructive rest. So a nice, simple, neutral pose. And if after careful consideration, there's other movement that your body is craving, by all means, you can take any movement you like. It's your practice. But if you feel you've had enough movement, if you feel that the spine is sparkly enough for today, then maybe we'll move to Shavasana. And our Shavasana is especially important today. I think it's always important, but it's especially important today, as this is where we'll allow the sparkly energy we've worked so intently on distributing throughout the spine. This is where it can move to the other parts of our body. And this is a movement that happens naturally. For example, nerve impulses move from the central channel of the body out to every cell in your being, and then every part of your body communicates back into. It's a bi-directional communication. So let's experience that in Shavasana today. So try to make sure that you're as comfortable as possible, supporting your head with a pillow if you need, or making sure you're warm enough with a blanket, whatever you need. And then eventually we'll move to stillness. And let's start the way we started our opening meditation this morning, by feeling the earth and the parts of your body that connect to the ground. And let those parts of your body really open up to the rooting invitation that the earth provides. And if it will be helpful to you to use that sighing breath Then let the weight of your body sink just a little bit more. Okay, and then we really know where we're rooted. We know where we're grounded. Now let's move into our breathing pattern that we've used quite a bit through class. So imagine that the crown of the head opens to sunshine energy. And as you inhale, you draw that energy right into the very deepest parts of your body, to the pelvic floor. And as you exhale, the energy moves back up from the pelvic floor, out the crown of the head. Just taking maybe 3 more breaths with that visualization. Again, it should be familiar, I hope, by now. And then letting your focus on that just kind of dissolve a little bit and open up to the totality of your spine all at the same time. So see if you can possibly hold awareness of every segment of your spine from the tailbone to the crown of the head simultaneously. And maybe you do feel quite sparkly in the channel. Maybe you do feel spacious or lightness. Maybe you do have a sense of warm sunshine, liquid sunshine flowing in the channel. So take a few breaths now to see if you can focus on the totality of your spine and invoke, if possible, this sunshiny energy, this sensation of liquid warmth, maybe. I might say champagne bubbles. And then from this central place in your body, become aware of the soles of your feet. And when you inhale, let the energy move right down to the soles of the feet. And as you exhale, bring the energy back up from the soles of the feet to the central channel. So it's like your legs are like hollow tubes. And they fill and swish and swirl. With sunshine-like energy. Take one more breath, bathing every cell in your legs with this sunshine energy. And then once again, concentrate your energy back into the central channel. So reorient your focus between the tailbone and crown of the head. And if at any time you think it would be helpful to take a relaxation breath, you want to really remember how you're connected to the earth the whole time we work with our sunshine energy. And then when you're ready, we'll bring awareness, if we can, to the palms of your hands. And again, as you inhale, distribute the energy. Feel the energy expand so much in the central channel, it spills down the hollow tubes of your arms right to the palms. And as you exhale, gently withdraw that, bring it back up through the arms, the shoulders, and into the central part of your body. Take a few breaths here to focus on the movement of the sunshine energy to the arms and palms if you can. And then let's refocus the energy into the central channel of the body. And remember that the sighing breath may help you to stay more focused and more connected to the earth. And let's play with this just a little bit more. This time as you inhale, feel the energy going out to the soles of the feet, out to the palms, and up to the crown of the head. All parts of your body expanding energy. And as you exhale, feel it pulling back in. And we'll work with this if you want to for a couple breaths. And let's imagine that the energy is starting to really centralize as it pulls back into the central channel in the heart area, the spiritual heart area. So this pulsation, this expansion is coming from the heart now out on the inhales, and on the exhales, pulling back into the heart. It's like the beating of your heart has just gone exponential. You may feel the sunshine energy even spilling a little bit beyond the boundaries of your skin, but then you pull it all back into the heart on the exhale. Let's try that for a few more breaths. And then let's let that go. Take a breath in through the nose and sigh it out through the mouth. Let your body settle even more deeply and rest. Just resting. Just suspended in this moment, this unique, special moment in time. Just resting. If you have more time this morning to rest, you've earned it. But if it's time to move on to the next activity of your day, you may want to start making a few little movements, like the fingers and the toes. And then maybe take up a stretch, kind of like you did in bed this morning, just kind of, yeah. Roll over to your side and gently make your way to a comfortable seat. I'd like to share with you the sacred sound of Om, the sound waves of this sacred syllable, just kind of weaving in amongst this energetic imaginings that we've had today, and just kind of settling everything exactly where it needs to go. So I'm going to take an inhale now.